Good morning, guys. We're going to start on the second half of special segments. Special segments was pretty much okay, except for the quadratic terms or the x squared terms that you didn't really like. But this is it. This is the final push. We're going to get through this last bit, and then we're going to go back over it. Go back over a couple of things to review, and then we're really pretty much done for the year. This I'm going to give you another couple days on, and then we'll quiz it. I want you to remember one thing. When we have secants and they intersect, and we want to find out something about the segments in question, very much like before, when those chords were intersected inside the circle, we multiplied the segments together, and they were congruent to the product of the other segments. Now this is sort of the same, except we have a new concept. What we're gonna say is the part times the whole equals the part times the whole. So basically it's the part outside times the whole, right? And that's going to be the same as part outside times the whole times the whole. All right? So the segment of the secant outside multiplied by the whole secant is going to be congruent to the part of the secant outside the circle times the whole secant. So let's see. There we go. 6, 7, 14. Okay. We're going to make this work, and we're going to round to the nearest tenth because I didn't create the perfect scenario for you right now. I just threw some numbers up on the wall, and I'll in a minute grab my phone as a calculator. But I want to talk about part outside. We have a 6 times the whole, which is 8 plus 6. That's 14. And that's going to be equal to the part outside, 7, times this plus this. So it's going to be x plus 7. Ah, nuts. Okay. And so we're gonna be okay on this, by the way. Then we have to start doing some math. Well, I can put these two things together, and if I'm not mistaken, I get 84. And I already know that that's true. I had already done that in my calculator. 7 times x is 7x, and 7 times 7 is 49. All right, so now we have ourselves a two-step equation, and we can solve this way. All right, and it's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to subtract 49 from both sides, and that gives me what, 35 equals 7x. And look at that, I figured out a problem where they actually do work out as a whole number. And then, like I usually say, I'm going to rewrite it so I can do my math on top of it. And my math on top of it is generally math underneath it when I'm doing division, but that's 7 divided by 7 is 1, 35 divided by 7 is 5, x equals 5. Okay? And that's the first type of problem you're going to have. The x may be somewhere else. Hopefully the x is inside the circle itself, because it's a lot easier. You don't have to deal with quadratics. If the x is outside, is part of the segment outside, it becomes a quadratic. It becomes a little bit annoying, but that's okay. For our purposes today, I think this is the type of problem you're going to see. And then there's one more type of problem you're going to get. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to leave this segment up here alone. And it's not going to work out perfectly. All right, so the first part says, like always, if you have a secant, that's great. Part outside times the whole secant. But if I have a tangent out here, and that's a poorly drawn tangent, but I'm just going to go with this. Let's make it an 8. And just for our purposes, we're going to have whole numbers all the way through here. If I have a tangent, right now I'm not going to look for x. I have a tangent, then the part outside times the whole is going to be equal to the tangent squared. Okay, and all that means is I'm going to have to erase this and give this an x. All right, I'll still keep this at 6. I'll put an x in here because they don't equal each other. I already know that 84 doesn't equal 64, so I'm going to have to change it. All right, so I'm going to say that 6 times x plus 6 is equal to 8 squared. Okay, and that's what that is. All right, that's how you set it up. And so we're going to have to do some math. I already know that 8 squared is 64. 6 times x is 6x. And then 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, and we'll see if this works out. We'll round to the nearest tenth if we have to. I'm going to subtract 36 from both sides. Minus 36. And 14 minus 6 is 8. And 5 minus 28. It doesn't work out. 6x equals 28. To rewrite and divide by 6. And 28 divided by 6. Okay, well, I know that 28 divided by 6 is 4 and 4 6. So x equals 4 and 2/3, which is 0.7. Okay, and that's how you figure that out. Please use a calculator when you're rounding to the nearest tenth. It's totally fine with me. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. That's how you do it. Remember, part times the whole, and then we have a tangent, so we square the tangent. And that's it. Those are the two types of problems you're going to see on here. Wherever the x is, you're going to have to figure out how it works. I don't see any on this where the x is outside. Yes, there is one where the x is outside with secants. So I'm gonna do one more next time to show you how the long process of the quadratic. Okay, one more time with quadratics. Hooray! And I'll see you shortly.